We are now at the stage where our Claro walnut Robert Fripp model is ready to be carved and shaped and turned into a guitar. It is going to have a relatively traditional, although slightly deeper than normal, or slightly deeper than a standard Les Paul carve, and effectively it's given a waist and something like that. So and I don't tend to actually need to do this drawing at this stage. One thing I also do is instead of an amorphous sort of lineless carve there, I prefer a hard line. So that's effectively what we want, and it's much more difficult to actually describe than that. We are going to also mark on the edge. I use my finger as a depth stop, and that means I draw an even line all the way around. It helps if you've got a sharp pencil. This carve here, going from there to there and the same on that side to that point, everybody seems to do it differently, and it depends on how you are angling your neck and all of that. A lot of times what happens is, instead of having a flat top and carving away, you will have a line at the bridge and it actually moves down to there from here, and then again from that side. I prefer leaving that flat, angling your neck, and then doing my carve like this. So we'll follow that line down to there and then put those in. It just seems to be a more fluid and natural feel, and it gives you more to carve away. This is just the way that I do it, and no doubt next year I'll find a different way and I'll change my mind. But that's what guitar building is all about. It's finding what works and using it until you find something else that works. So, now that that's marked out, well, I think we can start thinking about making some dust, don't you? Now, I am known for using an angle grinder to do my carving, and you're going to watch that process in a bit. But what I use on the angle grinder is either this tool, which is called the Holy Galahad, which is rather phenomenal, and this is their fine one. They get rougher and more dangerous as they get bigger. Now, the interesting thing about this is it's got holes in it, and at speed you can actually see through the tool. It's very clever. This is only really for use on softish tools, softish wood, sorry. And as you can see, you can chip off teeth. The other thing that we use, and which I started using many years ago, is a flap disc or a flap wheel like this. Generally used for metalwork, but a 60 grit disc is perfect for carving all manner of woods. And with a little bit of practice you can become very adept and get a very, very fine finish, or relatively fine finish, but perfectly close to the final carve that you want. In fact, ready for fine sanding with an angle grinder. Fine sanding with a random orbital sander. I'm doing too many things at once here. When you are using tools, especially power tools of any sort, you need to be absolutely certain that you are as safe as it is possible to be. The thing to be aware of, especially when they're new, these discs have got bits of
I want to say sand, but it's not sand anymore, grit, and a brand new one of these will kick this grit off. Now often what's happened to me several times is I've got a clamping the guitar down, the grit flies off away from me, hits the side of the bar of my clamp and shoots up underneath my goggles and into an eye. This is painful and to be avoided, and it is potentially even worse with a Galahad tool because it's actually got little bits of steel, which is why I don't use it on particularly hard woods. Wenge or wenge, whatever you call it, has got very hard striations through the wood, and carving that with one of those, at least the fine one, does cause issues. However, the whole thing is wear protection and be safe, as safe as you possibly can. First thing for me, music. It's probably going to take me an hour or so to carve this guitar down, and you need entertainment of some sort, an audiobook or some good old rock. Goggles, ear protection, and of course, of prime importance, a dust mask. And once I put this on, I can no longer talk to you, so I'll see you on the other side. Well, that is guitar building for you. Dust. All I can say is I'm very, very grateful that I've got a compressor. The air guns are most useful. There's still dust in this air, and there still will be for 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to obviously leave the air filter on for a while. For now, I'm going to get the hell out of here and go and have a cup of tea and a shower. Concurrently, I think. Thanks for watching. This has been Crimson Guitars, right to the dusty end. Cheers.